Bernie, can you hear me? Bernie?
Ha? Pwede mag-zoom dyan.
Ready?
Maawa ka naman sa tao.
Okay.
Bayad ako mamaya ha. Okay.
Happy New Year! Yes. Happy New Year, Miss.
Sabi nga po mamaya, covered. May meeting lang sa kapila.
Wala sa contracts.
Magkano ng ganda? Dito kayo sa playlist ko. Dapat ang aking accounting. Ito na dapat ang ganda. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay ma'am, okay ang kitaan mo. Actually, nag-partner ka na sa mga taga-Baguio. Station nila.
Sige po, sir. Ngayon, individual member si Robert, sabihin mo special member.
Sige po, Ay, sige po, pa-email na lang ma'am. Sure po, no worries ma'am.
Bakit? Pero ba pwedeng hindi marinig ako? Hindi, ito ngayon, hindi. Ha?
Vincent, nice to see you. The first
Happy New Year po, sir.
Actually, for me, the one being used for other languages.
Sige, analyze na lang natin mabuti.
We're going to start at exactly 2 o'clock, and there would be times when we will have to put you on mute. So I hope you don't mind that. Before we move on, we'd just like to remind you of some rules. We'd like to remind you of some rules we have for the meeting. One, please indicate your name and the club that you belong to in our chat group so that we can properly identify you, okay? Oh, well, okay, here are the house rules that we have. Now, please be advised that the microphones of non-program participants will be muted to help keep the background noise to a minimum. Second, maybe request a visiting Rotarians and guests to please type in the comment box your name, your club or affiliation for the Rotary Club Makati Rotarian who invited you to participate in this meeting so that we can properly acknowledge you later in the program. Number 3, for our open forum after the talk of the speaker, in case you want to ask a question, please use the raise hand button or simply notify us by typing in the comment box. Alternatively, you may want to type in your question and we will try to accommodate it during the Q&A. And lastly, please don't leave yet after the response of our president, as we will be having our group photo op with our speaker. So again, we will start in a few minutes. So I hope that everybody will start settling down, and we will call the meeting to order at exactly 2 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Just to say good afternoon to everybody. Still have 2 minutes. Ready? Be ready. Just to say hello. This is Guillermo Tumangan from RCM Makati West.
Direct, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us in our meeting. We're honored to have you.
Of course, this is being hosted by you and the other clubs, no? So I have to be here, no? I have to give honor
Thank you for
respect
Okay,
to the clubs in Makati.
Hi, Reggie. Good afternoon.
Happy New Year.
Hello.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Good
Year.
afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Classmate, yeah. We still have 2 minutes to say hello.
Good afternoon.
Of course,
Good
later in the
afternoon.
program, we will be acknowledging all of our dignitaries who are with us today. I can already see from the screen, we're honored to have 2 Prids in our group today, and of course, several of our PDGs. So we very happy to have you. Right now, we are at 130 participants, and we expect this to grow in a little while. Of course, we're very happy that there's our guest is already here. Our guest of honor is already here. Our dear Mayor of Makati, Abby Binay, Mayor Abby Binay. Thank you for being with us, ma'am.
Good morning, Reggie.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon,
Okay,
Reggie.
we are now going to start in 1 minute. Just as a little reminder to all our PVPs who are here now, we are going to call you one by one for you to call the meeting to order. Okay. So I will mention your name, and then please just unmute yourself. Call your club's meeting to order, as this is a co-hosted meeting of 31 Makati clubs. Madam Mayor, you have 31 of the 49 Makati clubs here today. And so, of course, we will, from there, we will move on to the rest of the program. So program participants, please be ready. It's exactly 2 o'clock. At this point, I'd like to call on the president of the Rotary Club of Makati, Peter Manzano, to please call the meeting to order.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Perfect Vision President Peter Manzano. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Ayala Triangle, Angeli Gurnamal.
I'm Angeli Gurnamal. I now call this meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Bel Air, Enrique Revina.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm PBP Ricky Ravina. In behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Bel Air, I hereby call this meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Business District, Mache Ackerman.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mache Torres Ackerman. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Business District, I now call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Central, Edwin Garma.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm PBP Ed Garma. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Central, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Century City, Ana Ana Belisa Bisnar.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lisa Bistar. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Central City, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Cristo Rey, Cynthia Cho Santos.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cynthia Cho Santos. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Cristo Rey, I now call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Dasmariñas, Conrad Banal.
Conrado Banal III for the Rotary Club of Makati Dasmariñas. I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Gems, Richard Carino. Richard, are you here?
There.
Their meeting is called to order for your club. Rotary Club of Makati Greenbelt, Josephine Rubio. Are you here? All right. Looks like she's not here as well. So Rotary Club of Makati HV de la Costa, Marisa Gonzalez.
Hi, everyone. In behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati HV de la Costa, this is your Perfect Vision President, Doc Marigons. I now call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Lumina, Anne Nerissa Acuña.
On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Lumina, I now call this meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Magilas, Ruel Monterico Querez. Ruel, are you here with us? We'll move on. From the Rotary Club of Makati McKinley, Maria Katrina Madriaga.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm representing our club president, Kai Madriaga. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati McKinley, I call this meeting to order.
Thank you, Cherry. From Rotary Club of Makati Metro, Mark Chester Willem.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Perfect Vision President Mark Wilhelm, and on behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Metro, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Northeast, Christy Alvarez.
On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Northeast, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Olympia, Catherine Ronquillo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your Perfect Vision President, Catherine N. Ronquillo. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Olympia, I will now call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Paseo de Magallanes, Earl Zephyrinus Manyo. Earl, are you with us? If not, we will move on. From the Rotary Club of Makati Paseo de Rojas, Margaret Divina Gracia.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marga Divina Gracia. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Paseo de Rojas, I now call this joint meeting to order.
I see that Earl Manyo is with us. Earl, would you like to call your meeting to order?
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, Paseo de Magallanes, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati, Pio del Pilar, Marie Camina Poliosco. Mina? We'll move on then. From the Rotary Club of Makati Poblacion, Fernan Mabanta.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Perfect Vision President Fernan Mabanta. On behalf of Makati Poblacion, I'd like to call this meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Premier District, Enrico Trinidad. Ricky.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ricky Trinidad. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Premier District, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Rockwell, Stella Marie Ignacio.
Hi, everyone. On behalf of PVP Stella Ignacio, I'm PVP Chris Denzel, and
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'd like to call this joint meeting to order.
All right. From the Rotary Club of Makati Rosewood, Rogelio UC Bangsil Jr.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. This is JB Bangsil of Rotary Club Rosewood, Makati Rosewood. And on behalf of my club, I call the meeting into order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Salcedo, Jennifer Mayela de Leon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Salcedo, I now call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati San Antonio, Patrice Ronquillo.
Happy New Year, everyone. Good afternoon. I am PBP Patrice Ronquillo. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati San Antonio, I call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati San Lorenzo, Gregory James D.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is PVP GJD. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati San Lorenzo, I now call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati San Miguel, Lalaine Opeña.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is your PVP Lalaine Opeña. From the Rotary Club of Makati San Miguel, I now call this joint meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati Southwest, Sherwin Torres.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am PVP Sherwin Torres. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati Southwest, I call this meeting to order.
From the Rotary Club of Makati West, Alice Dare Thompson.
Good afternoon, everybody, and Happy New Year. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati West, I'd like to call this joint meeting of Makati clubs to order. Thank you.
And from the Rotary Club of Forbes Park, Jose Mabilangan.
Hi, everyone. This is Joey Mabilangan. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Forbes Park, I call this joint meeting to order.
Thank you very much to our Perfect Vision presidents for calling your meetings to order. We're very happy to have you with us today in this very large joint meeting. Moving on to our program, I'd like to now call on Perfect Vision President Mache Torres Ackerman of the Rotary Club of Makati Business District to lead us in our invocation.
Let us all put ourselves in the holy presence of God. Dear God Almighty, thank you that you make all things new. Please renew our lives mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We humbly pray for your spirit to lead us each step of this new year. We ask that you guide our decisions and turn our hearts to deeply desire you above all else. We ask that you will open doors needing to be opened, and please shower on us all your healing love. We ask for your wisdom, for your strength, and power to be constantly present with us. We pray you would make us strong and courageous for the road ahead. Give us ability beyond what we feel able. Let your gifts flow freely through us so that you would be honored by our lives and others would be drawn to you. We pray that you would give us discernment and insights beyond our years to understand your will, hear your voice, and know your ways. We ask that you would keep our footsteps firm on solid ground, helping us to be consistent and faithful. Help us to be known as great Rotarians, as great givers. Help us to be generous and kind. Help us to look to the needs of others and not to be consumed by only our own. May we be lovers of truth. May the fruits of your spirit be evident in our lives, your love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, and deep faithfulness. Shine your light in us, through us, over us. May we make a difference in this world. For your glory and purposes, set you way before us. May all your plans succeed. We may reflect your peace and hope to a world that deeply needs your presence and healing. To you be glory and honor in this new year and forever. Amen.
Amen. At this point, we will have our national anthem to be followed by the Rotary Club of Makati hymn.
service above self, and this is why we succeed. We're the Rotary Club of Makati, and together we stand proud. We are leaders with integrity, always ready to serve humanity, always living by the four-way test, building goodwill and peace along the way, giving hope to the world. We're the Rotary Club of Makati, giving hope to the world. The Rotary Club of Makati.
Good afternoon, everyone. PP
Thank
Reggie.
you very much. We'd now like to ask PVP Ann Acuna of RC Makati Lumina to lead us in the four-way test.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will now recite the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Rotarians, please repeat after me. Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
The truth.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it
build
build
goodwill
and better friendship?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it
be
be
beneficial to all
concerned?
Thank you, everyone.
Moving on into our program, please allow us to just greet some of the members and aunts of the Rotary Club of Makati who are now celebrating their birthdays and wedding anniversary. Celebrating the birthday actually today are Stewart DeVries, Paquito Dizon, and Porsche Peña. On January 7 is Shav Haley, and on January 9 would be June Arceo. And for wedding anniversary, we have Coffee and Marisa Concepcion on January 8th. I think that's January. So congratulations to all of you, and I hope you have a good celebration. And now I'd like to take this moment to acknowledge some of our dignitaries in our group today. Of course, we'd like to start with our district governor, the leader of our district, District Governor Chacha Camacho. Thank you for being here with us. We also have here with us today two, like what I mentioned a while ago, two past RI directors, Paing Hetchanova and Guillermo Tumangan. Thank you for being here with us. We have past District Governor Tony Quila with us today, past District Governor Billy Villarreal, past District Governor Al Montecillo, past District Governor Joey Benedito. I think I saw him a while ago. And we have DGE Georgie Tan also here. Please forgive me if I miss out on anyone. Our guests today include the president of our RAC Makati, Prem Cato and Luigi Cato, Makati Councilor Ina Sarosa, Rotarians Joe Abes, Lovell Ahido, Imelda Busto, Juor Buted, CP Mong Canizares, Boyd Capanzana, Didis Santiago Cu, Edgardo David, Nongning De Ocampo, Ina Dizon, Baby Doble, Diaz Doris Ensomo, Mario Gatus, Jackie Lay, Alexander Ledesma, Ben Yuson, Tia Lugtu, Carol Mercado, Ferdinand Naniagas, Mark Anthony Ocamia, Marian Ong, Tyron Painor, Gideon Peña, Gilda Pico, Maria Victoria Rufino, Roda Salas, Marisa Puay, James Sarao, John Chong, Tim Tolentino, Maridel Villavicencio. We also have here our Assistant Governor, Emily Alvarez, Virgie Yalong, Agnes Brazil, Alfonso, Maria Colaico. And lastly, we'd like to also acknowledge the presence of some of our aunts. First, Aunt Pam Manzano, Marilu Alejandro, Nelly Bengzon, Marisa Del Rosario, Lulin Hoco, Menchu Pascual, and Cecile Dairit. Thank you very much for being with us today as we go through this our annual State of the City address. We're very proud to have you here. I'd now like to call on our President, Peter Manzano, to please lead us in our President's Line.
Thank you, VP Reggie. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, our lovely aunts and guests. Let me recognize my ever-supportive classmates, the Perfect Vision Presidents, who have joined us in hosting this joint meeting led by our Governor Chacha Camacho. Here's my report of the things that our club has been doing the past weeks since we last met online for a lively governor's visit last December 8. Our club got busy by going to Virac, Catanduanes on December 10 for our last relief operations for the year. In partnership with RC Virac and RC Metro Sorsogon, our club was able to distribute 1,500 relief packs in the form of hygiene kits, children's clothes, and face masks for over 1,500 families. This was followed by the turnover of a second set of 55 bicycles and accessories to the beneficiaries of the Bike to Work Buddies project in partnership with RC Parañaque Metro on December 12. On December 17, our club conducted our supplemental feeding program for 90 undernourished children in Calatagan, Batangas. Our Paul Harris Kitchen made a last run on December 20, where our club prepared 250 pack meals to feed 250 hungry families in Malate during the Tummy Truck Caravan. December was also filled with activities meant to cheer up the children. The Last Angel Gift Giving Project, under the leadership of IPP Bimbo Meals and Immediate Past First and Queenie Meals, delivered presents to 920 children in 9 sites. In the same breath, we gave gift certificates to 25 teachers at the Philippine Institute for the Deaf. On December 28, Director Eddie Galvez joined us in turning over our club's commitment of 500,000 to our service partner ABS-CBN Bantay Bata 163 at the Children's Village in Norzagaray, Bulacan. The said amount will be used to provide for the psychological evaluation of 20 children who are admitted to the program, provide for the recommended psychotherapy services to priority children, facilitate the resiliency program of 25 children, 12 to below 18 years old, identified for integration with their families, produce video materials of the resilience program to be used as reference materials for the capacity and to fund the building for the second social workers working in a residential care setting. In the afternoon, our club partnered with the Rotary Club of Makati and with the Malana campaign and distributed 164 packs of grocery items to jeepney drivers plying the Quiapo-Pasig route who got laid off or who were not allowed to work due to the pandemic restrictions. On December 29, in partnership with RC Parañaque St. Andrews, our club gave Christmas food packs to some 220 families in Rotary Homes, Parañaque. We also distributed our Last Angel packs to the children in said venue. In the afternoon of the same day, Rotarian and future President Peter Cayuto joined us as our club finally got to turn over to Mayor Isko Moreno our club's 500,000 contribution to the City of Manila's condominium housing project for the poor, which our club committed during the term of IPP Bimbo Meals. We are also able to establish new relationships when we signed online our Brothers Club agreement with the Rotary Club of Narvacan of District 3790 on December 30. On the last day of December, our club did a final trip down the streets of the Metro to look for the Last Angels, and we did. Our club surprised 35 Last Angels with food packs for their families, medianoche, children of tricycle drivers and children working with their parents on the sidewalks. Of course, we also did hub small fellowships attended by around 30 Rotarians and aunts in the forms of Christmas dinners held at the Peninsula Manila Mezzanine on December 17 and 18. And for this year, our club started hot. Last Sunday, P.E. Louie joined us as our club's Paul Harris Kitchen prepared and delivered the first 300 hot meals to the San Ildefonso Parish and the Parish of Saints Peter and Paul, both located in Makati under our club's Feed the Hungry project, where our club will be providing 55,000 meals to those direly affected by the pandemic in coordination with the identified partner parishes in Metro Manila. This coming Friday, we'll be heading to Ilocos Sur to turn over 20 digital tablets to our partner club, the Rotary Club of Narvacan, under our club's Education under New Normal project. Our club still has a lot of projects lined up for completion this Rotary year. So brace yourselves, fellow Rotarians and aunts. Our club is rolling. Thank you. Back to you, PP Reggie.
Thank you very much, PVP Peter. Just allow me to express how proud we are of our president and our officers for working very hard, even during the Christmas break, doing all of that fantastic work. And of course, to all the clubs, let's continue to do the work that we do in Rotary to help those who are most in need. I would now like to call on PVP Conrad Banal of the Rotary Club of Makati, Dasmariñas, to introduce our guest of honor today. Conrad?
Thank you, Reggie. Good afternoon to everybody. My task today is to introduce to you a person that is already known to everybody. I am going to tell you things that you already know. So I shall try my very best. There's still a number of facts, though, about our guest of honor that may be worthwhile to keep in mind as we listen to her State of the City address. The city being Makati. This is only the financial center of our country. She is now on her second term as chief executive of the city. That's one. But keep in mind that in her first term, the city government put priority in going high-tech. Yes, it went digital. We know about smart TV, we know about smartphone, or even smart restroom. Makati is now known as a smart city, thanks to her. So if you're from Makati, you are known as a Makatizen. It's a coinage, taking off from the term netizen, which means a person using the internet. And even the news media nowadays picks up the term Makatizen. I remember she declared that in this information age, going high-tech would be the only way to upgrade the operations of LGUs like the city government of Makati, or promote transparency to make them competitive in attracting businesses. Well, high-tech goes for fast and timely and good service. Less hustle, less corruption. But concrete results of her efforts already showed. For 3 straight years, the city got the highest audit rating from the Commission on Audit. As for finances, the city also reclaimed its position as the richest LGU in the country, with more than 230 billion pesos in total assets. Makati is also the only LGU with its own subway project. Talk of going modern. On a personal note, our good mayor is know her family background, as both her parents once served as officials of the city also. And she's married to a congressman of the city, Luis Campos. They have a daughter, her name is Martina. But did you know that in college, our guest of honor took up human ecology, major in human settlements and planning? That is her background for running the country's premier city, human settlements and planning. Subsequently, she took up law and became a lawyer. That was her background for serving as the congressperson for the city of Makati for 3 terms. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give the Rotary brand of one welcome to the Chief Executive of the City of Makati, Mayor Abby Binay.
Thanks, Conrad. Parang I remember you had more hair last time I saw you. Of course, to the Rotary Club of Makati President Peter Manzano, our distinguished officers, directors, and members of the Rotary Club of Makati, esteemed district officers of the Rotary International District 3830, Rotarians and guests, fellow public servants, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are again. And who would have known it's already been a year since I delivered this State of the City address. This year, rather than simply report on all our achievements, targets met, and huge wins, let me walk you back through 2020, although some of you wouldn't want to remember it anymore. The year Makati City learned what it meant to be truly resilient. Running a city in the midst of a global crisis and pandemic meant leading from the heart and not just the mind. It was a humbling experience to grasp at straws and think of how we could keep Makati City operational as the whole world practically stood still. We could do nothing about shutting down businesses, closing schools, and stopping public transportation. However, nearly 600,000 residents depended on us to make wise, brave, and life-changing decisions for them. They also turned to us for their day-to-day needs, for answers to their most pressing questions, as well as for inspiration and hope. In the midst of the crisis and tragedy, they believed that Makati City could do something for them that other cities could not. When they lost their jobs, when their kids stopped going to school, and when they were forced to stay inside their homes indefinitely, they turned to us for answers and solutions. The quick response during the ECQ. Days after the declaration of the ECQ, the city distributed food packs to 78,262 senior citizens. And when I mean distributed, it was sent house to house. Over 13,000 differently abled persons, 2,049 single parents, 81,995 public school students, and 175,000 households benefited from this program. 3 months supply of maintenance medicine and vitamins were delivered to the homes of senior citizens and bedridden residents so that they did not have to worry about their medical needs. Financial assistance was extended to some 6,000 public utility drivers, 13,000 private employees, 11,358 differently abled persons, 2,450 solo parents. We considered them the most vulnerable sectors because their income depended on their daily earnings. We also distributed in advance the mid-year cash gifts of nearly 79,000 senior citizens. We granted cash incentives to over 11,000 graduates from grade 6 and grade 12 in the public elementary school and senior high schools via GCash. In addition, we distributed 500 grocery vouchers to apartment and condominium dwellers. We also dispatched mobile markets to barangays on scheduled days so Makatizens can buy fresh meat, fish, and vegetables during the ECQ. In addressing the medical emergencies, the threat of the coronavirus made us realize that we do live in a disadvantaged economy. As a third world country, hospital supplies, equipment, and trained personnel have always been short. When the pandemic struck, the country's healthcare system all but collapsed. In Makati, we were fortunate and blessed to have the support of the private sector, as well as civic groups and organizations. They worked with the city to ensure that our people's medical needs were addressed on time while ensuring the lowest transmission rates of the virus in the community. Makati converted the Friendship Suites into an isolation facility and built 4 emergency quarantine facilities at Pemba Elementary School in partnership with the Rotary Club of Makati and a private architectural firm. We also put up 2 negative pressure tents at Hospital ng Makati. The city provided admission kits and free meals to COVID-19 patients and shouldered the cremation of the deceased. For the city's health workers, we have ensured adequate PPE gear and continuously provided free shuttle services, housing, vitamins, and hazard pay. On April, Makati City started its free mass testing program to detect, isolate, and treat frontliners and patients who may have contracted the disease. To date, the Makati Health Department and Hospital ng Makati have tested some 10,000 frontliners, health workers, and probable patients under monitoring for COVID-19 using PCR, which is the gold standard in testing for the coronavirus. In preparation for the transition to modified ECQ, the city last May 2020 launched the 2.7 billion peso Makati Economic Relief Program, wherein 500,000 qualified Makatizens aged 18 and above, including residents in the city-run resettlement areas in San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, and Calauan, Laguna, would receive 5,000 pesos from the city government through automated and digital distribution. One should either have a Makati Zen card or yellow card or is a registered voter. All qualified residents, whether rich or poor, were able to get their cash assistance that we dubbed Makatulong. The benefit was intended for qualified individuals. So even spouses and members of the same household each get 5,000 if they are eligible. Let me point out that for years now, Makati has been pushing to fully implement the Makati Zen card. I remember in 2017 or 2018, when I did the State of the City address, I mentioned to you the Makati Zen card. And in fact, this pioneering PPP-led initiative was hailed as the overall winner in the Best in E-Governance Customer Empowerment, or G2C category of the 2019 Digital Governance Awards. As I had reported previously, it's an all-in-one access and identification card that Makatizens can use for all kinds of transactions in the city. It has a GCash component which can use for all kinds of transactions. It has a GCash component which we're able to tap to provide contactless distribution of financial assistance to residents using electronic money transfer. Makati is the first, if not the only city in the country with this capability. And through this innovation, we prevented long lines and clustering of people when collecting their cash benefits during ECQ. We gave Makatizens until December 31 to register for the 5,000 cash assistance, either via website or via the Makatizen app, which, may I add, became the second most downloaded mobile app in the App Store and Play Store during the ECQ. Last June, the city established the Makatizen online assessment and payment portal, through which residents and business owners can pay the real property tax and business taxes using their smartphones or laptops. Thus, you no longer need to line up and observe physical distancing at City Hall. Makati City is also the first local government in the country to conduct pooled RT-PCR testing for COVID-19. It is an innovative method developed by Project ART aimed to quickly identify and isolate groups or communities infected with the virus. We have signed a memorandum of agreement with the Philippine Children's Medical Center, PCMC, and the Philippine Center for Entrepreneurship and the BDO Foundation when we formally began the pilot implementation of the pooled RT-PCR. Another innovation is the locally developed COVID-19 tracker that can be used for investigation, patient symptom observations, and conduct tracing. Can I just say that when I say locally developed COVID-19 tracker, this was developed by the University of Makati. The city also provided free flu and pneumonia vaccine shots to City Hall employees and residents, particularly senior citizens, to minimize COVID-19 complications and prevent hospitalization. Let me just brag that the pneumonia vaccine that we provided was actually rather expensive because it is the single shot pneumonia vaccine which has a lifetime effectivity. So you don't need to have another shot after 5 years. The Hospital ng Makati has encouraged patients also to consult via e-consult instead of going to the outpatient department to further prevent the spread of the virus. As weeks passed and people began to learn more about the coronavirus, the city slowly wanted to reintroduce Makatizens to regular activity. Of course, life in the new normal required adjusting to and adapting to a multitude of small changes, but we believe that Makati should not live in fear. With our strong safety protocols, consistent education and awareness campaign, and other ways and means to cope, we have so far managed to coexist with the virus. In October, the city government launched the Makati Mobile Learning Hub, an innovative learning platform focused on ensuring that young Makatizens will continue learning despite the risks and restrictions imposed by the pandemic. Jeepneys outfitted as mobile learning hubs have been deployed throughout the city to help students and their parents, particularly those who lack gadgets and other learning tools. On board are teachers or tutors who are on hand to orient the parents and the children using self-directed modules. Around 54 teachers and tutors have been hired for this project. So through this project, the city aims to provide much needed income also to around 100 jeepney drivers rendered jobless by the pandemic. The city provided each of our 85,000 enrollees, even though there is no face-to-face classes, from preschool to senior high school with a learner's package containing an on-the-go flash drive. The on-the-go flash drive is something that you can insert in any gadget, whether it be a TV, a tablet, or your cell phone. The learning modules, the printed modules, and 2 washable face masks. Both teachers and students continue to receive free 5-hour daily internet load. And the city also provided at least 2,500 brand new laptops for free to its public school teachers in October. Helping a community to get back on its feet is no small task. More than money, the health systems, employees, and workers returning to work offered reassurance that things will get better. To help individuals and businesses bounce back from the crisis, we have offered a 2.5 billion stimulus package for Makati businesses. The Makati Assistance and Support for Businesses is the city's economic stimulus package, which offers Makati-based businesses of a grant ranging from 10,000 pesos to 100,000 pesos, depending on the type of business and the number of residents employed. The grant is specifically intended to fund employee salaries and payments to suppliers registered in Makati. Businesses with over 12 Makatisan employees will get the maximum amount of the grant. To promote public safety and convenience as we gradually open businesses, we have developed a QR code system to make it easier for people to move around Makati every day. Instead of filling out multiple forms, the code is scanned and their health declaration forms can be downloaded by facilities or establishments. During a health emergency, it became even more crucial to implement law and order. Since the local council could not meet physically for sessions, we held virtual sessions of the City Council and the Makati City Development Council to expedite all COVID-19 related ordinances. So in the last 9 months, these ordinances were passed to aid the city in its fight against the coronavirus. The first is the mandatory wearing of the face mask. The second is the ban on drinking liquor outside the house or in stores. However, the city ordinance was subsequently amended, allowing alcoholic drinks to be served in restaurants only for dine-in customers who have ordered a full meal. Bars will remain closed during the community quarantine until the IATF decides to open them. Next is the anti-discrimination ordinance for health workers. Persons residing and working in Makati, including visitors, are prohibited from stigmatizing or discriminating persons with confirmed COVID-19 cases. Of course, Makati has earmarked 124.45 million for our hazard pay and special risk allowance for our frontliners, which include employees of Hospital ng Makati, Makati Health Department, Makati Social Welfare Department, our firemen, our policemen, and our people from the Bureau of Jail Management. The hope of having our people vaccinated may soon become a reality, and I allotted 1 billion pesos to ensure that all Makatizens will have access to safe and world-class vaccines. I have always believed in mass testing as a way to prevent further transmission of the coronavirus. From the very start, Makati has looked for ways to bring COVID-19 tests to our employees and residents, specifically the most vulnerable sectors of society. All the high-impact initiatives you have undertaken, combined with the strict implementation of ordinances, are aimed at protecting the lives of citizens and particularly saving the lives of our frontliners. In these challenging times, leaders should focus on risk management and civic engagement because these are essential in rebuilding the cities that are not only resilient and sustainable, but regenerative as well. We can talk about resilience all day, but at the end of it all, it has been the courage and sacrifice of our frontliners and essential workers that saw us through. These men and women set aside their own safety and that of their families to continue serving their fellow Makatizens the best way they know how. I thank our frontliners and I thank you, our business and civic partners, for inspiring us to work, hope, and plan for a safer Makati. Makati will lead the way and I shall continue to serve with honor and dedication for our proud Makatizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Abby. As always, your presentations are very clear, very straightforward, and it's very informative for the residents of Makati. Ma'am, we will now open the floor for questions, if that's okay with you. I'd like to start immediately. There was a question even at the start of this meeting, as early as 1:55, even before the 2 o'clock meeting, there was already a question in our chat box. And the question is from Adele Haushan. She's wondering why it is that for senior citizens, they were made to go to the Makati City Hall to pick up their Christmas goods when they are weak and vulnerable. Maybe that has studied.
Okay. Chances are, hindi ho kayo nahanap sa bahay. What we did this year is different from the previous years. We were distributing the ticket for the senior citizens house to house. The only difference was for the villages, like for the condominiums, we still did the same thing sa condo. So it's not like before where they just go to the barangay hall or the covered court and they claim their cash and their ticket. In fact, pag pumunta ho sila sa bahay-bahay, they even ask for your GCash number. So wala ho silang hawak ng pera. So we were distributing the cash incentive contactless as well. So chances are, if I am correct, the senior citizen was not there when the people from City Hall visited them in their residence. Tama po ba?
Well, we're not getting any response. That might be the case.
That might be
correct po, correct. I have not gotten my Makati citizen card up to now.
Ma'am, the Makati Citizen Card, we started distributing them already, I think, if I'm not mistaken, around October, November, for those that are still with us. It was also coordinated with the barangays. It is necessary that the person that the Makati Zen card is received personally because there is a PIN number that needs to be encoded and tagged with the SIM card. Kaya hindi ko po pwedeng we just distribute it indiscriminately. So very tedious because it's like it's actually similar to in a way a credit card, but this is more like an ATM card. Di ba? Your ATM card you claim personally in the bank because of the PIN number. So it's the same situation when it comes to your Makati Zen card.
Thank you very much, Mayor Abby. I think we have a question from June Palafox. June, you wanted to say something a while ago?
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. I'm from Makati, and thank you for all the benefits as a senior citizen. And it's I think I asked this last time you met at the Rotary Club of Makati. If you could, it's a noble initiative, progressive initiative to have the subway for Makati. And I have been putting forward, even with your father, Jojo Binay, we can have interconnected elevated walkways all over Makati to really make Makati more walkable, and also pedestrian and bicycle bridges across to Mandaluyong and Manila. And now is the time with the tactical urbanism, what can be done quickly, make Makati more walkable and bikeable, and take advantage of what went wrong that can be righted. Like the Makati Central Business District before the pandemic, the daytime population was 11 times
correct
nighttime population. And planning is balance. You're a planner. There's imbalance between jobs and housing. So maybe it's the time now to maybe not approve any more offices it may be a revolutionary, controversial recommendation. No more additional offices in Makati CBD and more affordable housing. And because even others commented it also, Makati employees are like OFWs. They are 6 hours away from their families because they are away, and the housing stock of Makati, the employees are priced out of the housing stock of Makati. And you may want to encourage more higher density affordable housing for employees. And thank you, ma'am, and congratulations and Happy New Year.
Architect June, if you look at the subway program, we clearly went around the CBD. There will be a top side development outside CBD, which will cause a spread of the boom outside the CBD. So there will be a time, I think, eventually the presentation for the subway, if I'm not mistaken, there's several walkable kilometers that will be built because of the subway. If I'm not mistaken, we will be able to interconnect, if Manila does their part, for a walkable baywalk from along Pasig River from Circuit until might be even past the University of Makati. So medyo mahaba-haba yan. So from Circuit, passing through Valenzuela, Olympia, Poblacion, Rockwell area, Viejo, until the Bliss area, until UMAC. So
Yes,
it will be a walkable city.
Yeah. We were part of the planning of the promenade, the whole 27 kilometers.
Yes.
The lady mayor of Paris is making Paris now 15-minute city.
Wow.
15-minute. Everything 15-minute walking distance, bicycle distance, and public transit distance. Now you have the opportunity. And in New York, they found out the on-street parking areas is 13 times the size of Central Park, New York. So this, so this on-street parking now is being converted into instant restaurants. I think 40,000 restaurants of New York closed down. So across, just maintain the sidewalk, and across you put the instant restaurants with good architecture design. Yeah. Maybe the Jolly Jeeps we have in Makati, it can be more, it's architecturally challenged. You may want to improve. They may be better looking and more hygienic. And Makati can be a polycentric city, many centers, not monocentric. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, if we can move on to the next questions. No? RJ Ledesma in the chat box asks, which vaccines do you intend to use for Makati Van?
Okay, I've been parang in my sleep, I'm already repeating myself. The vaccine that we are planning to procure for Makati will be either Pfizer, Janssen, or AstraZeneca. Those are the top 3 that we are considering.
Thank you very much for that. Cherry is also asking about the free one-time flu vaccine. Is that still available right now?
I will have to double check. I'm sure we replenished our stock for this year. If you are interested, please send me an email or send send an email at om@makati.gov.ph so we can make sure that we will allocate that flu vaccine for you.
All right. There's a very interesting question here that has always been of interest to a lot of people. How is the number coding rule in Makati now?
The number coding is modified. We did that even during the GCQ, meaning if there are 2 or more people in the vehicle, you are even if the number you're coding for that day, you are exempted.
Fantastic.
So it has been pero yung makes you wonder, why is it still traffic?
Yes.
Di ba? Di ba? Traffic, well actually Makati hindi traffic, but when you step outside of Makati, yun na. So the it is a we are still practicing the modified coding scheme, which gives an exemption to those that have 2 or more occupants in the vehicle.
Therefore, we'd like to encourage everyone to please go on carpools rather than have a lot of cars in Makati.
Exactly.
Ma'am, there is a question here from our PE Louis Asioche. How are the Jeep learning hubs coming along, and how stable are the wireless and internet connections inside the jeepneys?
Okay, the thing is, remember another PPP initiative that we launched in 2017 was the fiber optic connection. So already 26 barangays already have fiber. On top of that, meron pa kaming backup if mahina yung signal. So very successful yung learning hubs namin because there are still people that are more comfortable with a person actually explaining rather than it being a screen. So the point of the learning hub is to assure the student and the parent that there's actually someone that they can talk to and they know where to go. That's the purpose of the learning hub. Eventually now, because of the incoming, I think we're second quarter already, they will now download the learning modules through the learning hub, either online or they can just bring their OTG, their on-the-go gadget, and put it and attach it to the computer where the learning hubs are, the jeepneys are. So actually, the nice thing about the jeepney learning hub is it hits 3 people: the jeepney driver that was displaced, the student and the parent that needs assistance, and the teachers that were also displaced because of the downsizing of private schools. Kaya maganda yung learning hub kasi ang dami niyang natulungan na sektor na natamaan ng COVID.
Thank you very much. Yes, actually, a lot of Rotary clubs also have a lot of projects on the educational field, and hopefully we can always partner with the city for this. There's a question here on how has the pandemic affected your revenue and tax collection in the city?
For 2020, we still exceeded our tax collection by 3%. I think it's also because they know where their taxes go. You know that even our projects, we don't even limit it to just poor people. I mean, the 5,000 pesos can be availed even by people that live in the villages. This vaccine is not limited to poor people. The free vaccine will be also given to the people living inside the villages. Eventually, we are seeing if we'll be able to provide the same free vaccine for those that have businesses inside Makati but are not residents. So we want I think that's also the reason why people are encouraged to pay their taxes, because they know where their taxes go. So far naman, today's Tuesday. I asked my head of BPLO yesterday, maraming nagbabayad. Even our RPT, a lot of people decided to pay their real property taxes early last year. I think may isang araw that we collected over 70 million.
Wow.
Ang daming gusto magbayad, siguro to avail of the discount also. So a lot of people, either they wanted to avoid the long lines in January or they wanted to avail of the discount. So a lot of people decided to pay as early as December for their property taxes. So far so good. So I'm hoping that more businesses will continue to business in Makati and pay their taxes.
Hearing that you are going to provide vaccines and have a budget of 1 billion, I think people will support. by paying their taxes. I hope they do that. Ma'am, there are two questions here, both in relation to the subway. How is what is the status of the subway?
We are actually waiting for the consultants to arrive kasi diba, they're coming from abroad and it's difficult for them to come in. So we were asking for a special visa for them to be able to come in. But we've already started with the excavation of certain stations. So we actually started last year to give notices already to those that will be part of the subway that will be affected. So hopefully this year we can start already clearing the areas that needs to be used for the subway.
That is something that I think is already very, very delayed. So I think people are really interested in seeing that happen. We have a question here on when you may be in touch with the IATF on how things are going. In which case, is there a horizon for moving from GCQ to MGCQ where restrictions can be eased up a bit?
Actually, as early as October, we were already ready in a way to shift from GCQ to MGCQ. But because of our fear, meaning kami lahat na NCR mayors, because of our fear of the incoming holidays, I mean, look at Canada, di ba? Nag-Thanksgiving, tumaas ngayon yung cases nila. Even London now requires another lockdown. So we felt that it was necessary for us to keep the quarantine under GCQ classification until the end of the year. But I think it really depends now on how the numbers will reflect coming January, because some laboratories were closed during the holidays. So we will see whether there will be a spike in the cases, whether we are going to ECQ or we're going to MGCQ. I think we will know more or less by mid-January if we can already change our classification.
Mid-January, all right. Ma'am, there's a lot of questions here about the senior citizen card.
Yes.
I think marami tayong seniors dito, no? So, is it possible to automate the application forms? Where again, you mentioned this a while ago, but perhaps you can repeat.
There are a lot of things that we are planning to automate this year. One, hopefully we'll be able to finish yung aming building permits. It will be automated already. Our business permits is semi-automated, but for the applications for the yellow card, the blue card, definitely we will plan to do everything online or through the Makati Zen app. There will be a lot of changes for this year wherein we will ensure that less people will have to go to City Hall. Mas gusto namin that you stay at home na lang, because you have to line up and then you have to do the health declaration and all that. It's very, very tedious. So we will be introducing, I mean, even the flu, look at the flu and pneumonia vaccine that we did last year. It was online registration. Because I was afraid that we would end up holding a stockpile of vaccines that will expire. So what we did was an online registration. That's also the reason why we are pushing for an online registration for the COVID vaccine, because we want to be able to know how many are interested to have themselves vaccinated and where they are. Because very strategic yung magiging rollout for the vaccine. We will go to your houses, isa-isahin kayo sa bahay. So important na alam namin kung nasan kayo. Plus there's the GIS tagging, there's the may QR code pa yan, and there's the post monitoring for after the vaccination. So yes, we will automate, don't worry.
Is there a plan to adopt something like the passing pass?
We have one, the QR code one.
Okay.
We already have one.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, ma'am, in relation to the vaccine, there's a very interesting question here. Because there is now this controversy that some of the vaccines may not be morally acceptable because of the use of stem cells, no? Or the use of the fetus issues. So is this something that the city is also looking at, or are you just looking at the whole gamut of vaccines out there and choosing which is best?
You know, at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. Even if you provide all these vaccines, if no one wants to have themselves vaccinated, wala din. But what is important is they do have a choice. They have a readily choice that is available. So again, yung mga moral issues on the vaccine will be very personal, and it is not for me to say or to hinder the availability of the vaccine.
All right. Ma'am, ito, question about Pogos. How are the Pogos in Makati?
The last year, we already passed a moratorium against issuing more Pogos. Meron pong umalis, meron rin namang bumalik. Merong umalis, pero meron namang pumalit. So the cap is still there. We are not adding more Pogos in the city. We're keeping that number as it is. I don't know the number as it is now, but we're keeping the Pogo number there. So kung meron lang bakante, that's the only time a new Pogo can get another license. So we're not very affected by the steady naman yung Pogo industry sa Makati, because I think the number one is the internet connection. The infrastructure is important for a Pogo industry.
Reggie?
Yes.
George, may I have a follow-up questions to Mayor Abby? This is George Barcelon. I read in the paper that many of the workers in the Pogo sector has been vaccinated. Are you aware of any in Makati?
Wala akong alam dyan. I'm not complicit to any information like that.
Okay, thank you.
I actually don't. I have no idea of that. Whether they have been vaccinated. I will not even assume that they're all Chinese workers. Hindi ko alam yan, sir.
Okay. But there's a restraint on the part of the city government not to really encourage more Pogo operations. Am I right?
Hence the moratorium. That was the reason for the moratorium, because we wanted to really already limit the Pogo operations in the city.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any more questions from the live group?
Si Sir George naman, baka mag-report pa ako sa DOH. Hindi ko alam yan.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. There's a question here about disaster preparedness. We are now very much focused on COVID-19 as an issue. And the weather is fantastic now. But the thing is, how is Makati now preparing for disasters that we can anticipate this year?
For this, well, we've procured in the previous years several disaster preparedness equipment. We have our mobile, lahat mobile eh. We have a mobile kitchen, mobile shower, mobile command center in case you're unable to access the command center inside City Hall. I think this year we're also planning to procure a field hospital. And field hospital yung ano hindi yung makeshift field hospital. So we're planning to procure equipment for a field hospital in case of a big earthquake wherein access to hospital ng Makati will not be possible. Maraming bagong technologies ngayon for disaster preparedness, pero ngayon na nakakatakot, 'di ba? Panay ang earthquake, panay ang baha. So we already distributed our disaster kits. So Hopefully, we will see if it is possible to start clearing areas. Yung homes that are within the fault line, it's rather difficult and very unpopular, but necessary, because we have with the new technology, you're able to identify within the 5-meter radius of the West Valley fault line. So we're actually hoping, we'll see if people will be more open to the idea of um, yung vacating that area that falls under the West Valley fault line and keep it as an open space.
I think June has a question again. June?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, ma'am. May follow. Thank you that you are working on the digital permitting for
Yes.
permits. That's good.
That was your request last year. I
Last year, it was a mayor's forum because again, some building officials are.
Yes, we're doing that. We're doing that already. So hopefully you'll be launching that this year.
Since we are trying to be a smart city for Makati, Dubai, where I used to be a planner, 55 permits in Dubai are digital. You might want to include national permits. Like
Mahirap po yung national. It's actually beyond our control.
So, even Taipei, all digital na except marriage license. Marriage license lang ang hindi digital na.
Civil register. Actually, even po yung civil register namin, we're planning to make it online also, so people don't have to go to City Hall to have their birth, yung mga certificate of, yung parang similar to PSA, wherein you can just request and then it was going to be online, pero online application will also be possible for CCRO. Marami pong permits that we want to make available online, but there are certain legal issues that also needs to be resolved.
Like yung fire department.
Like yung ayun po, yung fire is hiwalay kasi
hiwalay. They have to prescribe their fire extinguisher before they give you your permit.
Plus the payment does not go to us. The payment goes to the Bureau of Fire. So yung very tedious yung issues as to documents that needs to be notarized, so it cannot be online. Yung payments, because there are payments that are not for the city but for a different entity, which is like Bureau of Fire. So plus yung may issue din ho kasi sa COA, yung crediting. That has always been an issue as to payment. When is it yung reconciling of the books? Yun ho yung medyo, those are the challenges that we are usually confronted by putting the permits online.
There is a question from Alfonso Colaico. Mr. Colaico, you may want to put on your video and ask your question. You have your hands raised. Are you here? You are still on mute, sir. You're still on mute.
Okay. Yes. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor. My name is Rico Colaico. I'm from Rotary Club Pio del Pilar. My question refers to the backup plans for the local government with respect to possible anaphylactic or what we call severe allergic reactions due to, say, the inclusion of polyethylene glycol, which is a known what do you call this synthetic substance that is used for vaccines, and it has been confirmed used by, say, the likes of Pfizer. Yeah. So does the city government plan, or does it have plans of being able to respond to such severe allergic reactions in case or in the event that, say, a Makatizen opts to have the vaccine?
Yeah.
Soon?
Again, because this is the vaccination program is actually a national initiative.
Yes,
naman, we're just adding the procurement by allotting a fund to buy the vaccine. So we are guided by the IATF rules. In fact, one of the requirements that they have asked us during the period of actual vaccination will be a standby ambulance
Okay.
in case of an allergic reaction. And at the same time, we are required to continuously monitor all those that are vaccinated. Kaya po yung very essential yung aming pong health information management system, wherein and the GIS also, we are using the GIS to plot where everybody are. Kasi ang strategy din na sinabi po ng IATF sa amin, hindi pwede sa isang household magkakaibang brand.
Okay.
So mahirap yung monitoring. So in fact, what they are recommending is that per territory, whether it be a house, a street, a barangay, dapat pare-parehas yung brand ng vaccine. So it is easier to monitor. So for example, itong street na to Pfizer, itong street na to Moderna, itong street na to AstraZeneca. But most definitely there will be constant monitoring after the vaccination.
Okay, but thank you, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor, a few days ago there was this incident of the PAL flight attendant who passed away in a building in Makati. There is actually a question here on how it is that citizens can report establishments or restaurants who may be in violation of COVID protocols.
We have a 168 number. Marami po nagre-report sa amin. We have the 168, we have My Makati Facebook. We have the Makati Zen app if you want to report. There's several. Kaya din naman po takot yung mga ibang establishments kasi alam na madali silang ma-report. So a lot of establishments have been caught or closed because of our private citizens reporting the violations. If you notice, pati yung mga restaurants na sara, the one in the Sky Bar, well, the Sky Bar was because they were posting it on Facebook. So may nakikita. So you can report. We are very heavy on SOCMED, so you can report whether Instagram, Twitter. We are out there if you wish to report any violations.
I think we'd like to remind everyone that the responsibility of being good citizens is not just the responsibility of the local government. It is actually the responsibility of each and every person. So if there are rules to be followed, I think we have to follow the rules. June, just before I get to you, just a few more questions. May mga tanong pa kasi tayo sa chat box. There is a question here, ma'am, on one of our youth leaders trying to register to be in COMELEC, in the COMELEC office, and they were advised that the system for District 2 is still down. Is this something
parang yung computer nila may problem I actually don't know when they will be able to resolve that. Kasi yung COMELEC meron lang sa office ng City Hall. So I actually don't know when they're going to be able to fix their computer.
All right. June, you had a follow-up question.
Yeah. I think Attorney Reggie is reluctant to ask this question because I think he was indirectly asked by the Japanese consultants of the PNR Railway North-South connection and interconnect walkability and bikeable and walkable with the Makati subway. They don't seem to know who to contact. Because getting off from Buendia Pasay Road Station and South Expressway, it's really connectable by bicycle and walking and maybe even underpass direct to Buendia and Pasay Station of the Philippine Railway.
If I'm not mistaken, there constant po yung correspondence namin with PNR. I'm not sure if Timothy Batan is still there. Mahilig ho yan sumulat because if I'm not mistaken, they're planning to expand. Parang may kukunin ho silang area sa may Pio del Pilar. If but I have yet to, I'm not sure if I received that letter asking for connectivity as to the subway. I will have to double check. Can you
Yes, ma'am.
please ask them to send me a letter so
Yeah,
I can forward it to the consultant?
thank you, ma'am. It's the Japanese consultants investors
Ah, okay. Not PNR.
and funders, not PNR, the
Not
OTR who talk to us, or talk to Reggie or talk to me.
Just
maybe, ma'am, when it's right for us to talk about, we will get in touch with you on that.
Kasi alam ko meron, may pinaplano sila sa may Magallanes Interchange if I'm not mistaken.
There are actually two areas, ma'am. There are actually two areas. No? One is across from the Makati, from Magallanes, no? the one near Chino Roces. And then the other one would be in the Buendia Interchange.
Yes, yun yung dalawa.
Yeah, so those are, again, ma'am, it's a little premature for me to talk about it, but maybe one day we'll
Baka mawala yung opportunity to...
For connectivity. Sige. Kasi kahit naman kami with DPWH, we closely coordinate with them for the Metro Manila subway naman. Because important din naman kasi sa amin yung like for example, connectability to the airport. Diba? Ano yun? Kailangan may abang din kami if eventually you do build an access towards the airport. It's also important for the Makati subway. So please send me a letter.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I will do it.
Ma'am, there is a question here about cell sites. I think connectivity is a very, very important issue now. No? Well, I know you don't speak for either Globe or Smart, but how are we doing with our interconnectivity?
Actually, the one that has a problem are those that are in the villages. Forbes and DASMA have an issue as to connectivity because of their issue with certain residents that are against ODAS, yung outdoor antenna. I think I've always been telling Globe and Smart, you know what you need? You have to do an information campaign on the issues, alleged health issues of ODAS. And if you're able to address that, then people will become more receptive to the idea of building a cell site near their homes. Not even a cell site. Ano nga lang eh. We're not talking about a cell site na tower, but just an ODAS to increase our connectivity. So yun lang, yung sa village lang naman mahina signal. yung wala sa yung hindi naman nasa village, okay naman signal nila eh.
Thank you for that, Madam Mayor. There's a very interesting question here. Are you considering vaccines from India or for that matter from China?
You know what? Again, going back to your earlier issue about the moral issue of the vaccine, as long as if it's available, it really depends on the person, what they want. If they want the Chinese vaccine, okay, you can have it. I'm not familiar with the co-vaccine. Is that the Novavax? Not sure eh, kung yan yung Novavax. Because that's
maybe
the
we can ask Ralph, but yeah.
Only one I know na Indian.
No, it's not the one. He just mentioned in the chat now, it's not the one. So apparently it's a different vaccine.
Okay, so it really, number one, it really depends on DOH which ones will be part of the short list of vaccines that will be available in the city. So kami naman, again, it's about how receptive people are on the kind of vaccine that is available in the market. Unfortunate lang naman yung China vaccine. Ako feeling ko naman, China has inoculated how many millions of Chinese people in the mainland, and mukhang okay pa naman sila, di ba? So, they are living proofs of how effective their vaccine is. It's just that I think for the past years there have been an anti-China sentiment that doesn't help. Whether the product is good or bad, kaya medyo mahirap. Yun yung challenge dun sa Chinese vaccine. No matter how good the vaccine is, until we get rid of any misconception or bias towards to China or to a Chinese product, it will be very difficult to have themselves vaccinated.
So as you mentioned, ma'am, the choice is with the citizen.
Yours.
So nasa kanila.
It's not even mandatory. The vaccination is not even mandatory. You can choose not to have yourselves vaccinated, or you can choose whatever brand you want, as long as it's available.
One last question, ma'am, before we turn it over again to our PVP Peter. What is your New Year's resolution?
I have 3 actually. Drink more water, exercise, increase my cardio, and drink more vegetables. Eat more vegetables. That's my New Year's resolution.
Something all of us should do. Thank you very much, ma'am, for answering our questions. And I'd now like to turn it over to our PVP Peter Manzano for his reaction.
Thank you, Pipi Reggie. Are we just lucky that our clubs are located in Makati, or are we simply blessed that we have Mayor Abby Binay as our local chief executive? On January 7 last year, our beloved mayor appeared before us and told us about her priority projects for 2020. On top of her agenda for 2020 was the improvement of Makati's health services. She dedicated the lion's share of the city's 2020 budget, 44.7% of the budget, or a total of 5.26 billion, to the city's social services. Then COVID-19 happened. Now, was the allocation of a big chunk of the city budget to the city's health services simply providential, or was it foresight, the result of wisdom and careful planning on the part of our local chief executive and her team? I'm not superstitious, though I'm a little bit stitious, to borrow the words of Michael Stott in the TV series The Office. But to have a proactive leader and a council who planned for something else and proved themselves prepared for the unimaginable, that's just beyond awesome. It's super amazing. We have seen how the city of Makati has blossomed under the leadership of Mayor Abby and her council. Through the years, Mayor Abby has aggressively pursued programs that promoted good and efficient governance through the use of modern technology to upgrade public service and promote transparency. We have witnessed how the use of relevant technology, like the Makati Zen app, which our beloved mayor mentioned earlier, an app which makes it easier for residents to report emergencies like accidents and crimes directly to City Hall, and the Makati Zen card, the all-in-one card that Makati residents use to access city government services, pay fees and taxes, as well as receive cash allowances, stipends, and other monetary benefits, has brought significant ease in the way citizens of Makati live and has further improved the city's education and disaster resilience programs. Even COVID-19 did not deter her from ably responding to the challenges of the pandemic. As reported earlier, nearly 600,000 residents depended on her leadership to make wise, brave, and life-changing decisions for them. And respond well she did, as the city did a house-to-house distribution of food packs to 360,000 Makatizens, house-to-house distribution of medicines to senior citizens and sick persons, provided one-time anti-flu vaccines, established the Makati Learning Hubs, and provided assistance to 85,000 students in Makati with the on-the-go gadgets, just to name a few, and at the same time, maintaining law and order in the city. The city even exceeded its tax collection target by 3%, as reported by our beloved mayor. So, yes, we are lucky that our clubs are located in Makati, the richest local government unit in the Philippines, as earlier mentioned by our Perfect Vision President Conrad Banal. One of the very few cities that has earned the seal of good financial housekeeping from the Department of Interior and Local Government for its transparency and honesty in spending public funds. But aside from just being lucky, we are also blessed. We are blessed because we have a local chief executive and a council that not only have the prudence and foresight in coming up with plans that address the future needs for our city, but also the fortitude and determination to see to it that such plans are executed effectively, efficiently, and with full transparency. I'm sure our mayor's father and our member, former Vice President Jojo Binay, is very proud of what our beloved mayor has accomplished so far under her watch, just as we are proud of her as Rotarians in the city of Makati. So on behalf of the Rotary Club of Makati, President Angeli Gunamal of the Rotary Club of Makati Ayala Triangle, President Ricky Rabina of the Rotary Club of Makati Bel Air, President Mache Ackerman of the Rotary Club of Makati Business District, President Ed Garma of the Rotary Club of Makati Central, President Lisa Bernal of the Rotary Club of Makati Century City, President Chang Chosantos of the Rotary Club of Makati Cristo Rey, President Conrad Banal of the Rotary Club of Makati Dasmariñas, President Chard Carino of the Rotary Club of Makati Gems, President Bibing Rubio of the Rotary Club of Makati Greenbelt, President Marigons Gonzalez of the Rotary Club of Makati HB de la Costa, President Ana Cunha of the Rotary Club of Makati Lumina, President Ruel Quieres of the Rotary Club of Makati Magilas, President Kai Madriaga of the Rotary Club of Makati McKinley, President Mark Willem of the Rotary Club of Makati Metro, President Christy Aldave of the Rotary Club of Makati Northeast, President Kat Ronquillo of the Rotary Club of Makati Olympia, President Earl Manyo of the Rotary Club of Makati Paseo de Magallanes, President Marga de Vinigracia of the Rotary Club of Paseo de Rojas, President Mina Foliosco of the Rotary Club of Makati Pio del Pilar, President Fernando Mobanta of the Rotary Club of Makati Poblacion, President Ricky Trinidad of the Rotary Club of Makati Premier District, President Stella Marie Ignacio of the Rotary Club of Makati Rockwell, President J.B. Bangsil Jr. of the Rotary Club of Makati Rosewood, President Chichi De Leon of the Rotary Club of Makati Salcedo, President Patrice Ronquillo of the Rotary Club of Makati San Antonio, President G.J. D. of the Rotary Club of Makati San Lorenzo, President Lolaine Opeña of the Rotary Club of Makati San Miguel, President Sherwin Torres of the Rotary Club of Makati Southwest, President Alex Thompson of the Rotary Club of Makati West, and President Joey Mabilangan of the Rotary Club of Forbes Park, as well as our District Governor Chacha Camacho, Assistant Governor Emily Alvarez, our past District Governors in attendance, our lovely aunts, all the Rotarians from different clubs in our district, our Rotaractors, and all the guests with us today. Please accept our heartfelt gratitude for taking time in sharing with all of us the great state of Makati City. Rest assured you have our steadfast support as you continue serving all of the Makatians, the citizens of Makati. And as tokens of our appreciation for your time and service, I know that you already have a copy of our 50th anniversary coffee table book. We shall be sending you over this colorful bouquet of flowers to complement your beautiful home, together with 2 bottles of white wine. Chardonnay from Napa Valley under the brand Napa de Oro with the 3 stars, courtesy of our member Glenn Gatuslao. Do enjoy drinking them with your loving husband and Congressman Luis. Once again, thank you, Mayor Abby. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Abby. Thank you.
Buti na lang, New Year's resolution.
And before we adjourn, may I ask each and everyone to open your cameras for our group pictures.
One, two. One more. 2 more. Okay. One more. One last. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor
On
Abby.
behalf of the 31 Rotary
Thank you.
Clubs in
Mabuhay
Makati
ka.
City,
Thank you.
for joining
Thank you.
us in hosting this afternoon's joint meeting, and with the kind permission of my esteemed Perfect Vision President, this meeting is adjourned.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Abby.
Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you, President Peter.
Thank you, Mayor.
And Reggie.
Everyone for
Thank you, Reggie.
Congratulations, classmate Peter Montano.
Thank you, Mayor.
Very good.
Very good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, classmates.
Thank you, Mayor.